Sometimes a movie provides such a pure shot of dopamine that its very obvious flaws don't matter in the slightest. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, so here's the good and the bad without spoilers. If you hate fun movies, you must be having a really shitty summer, because this is like the 6th wide release in a row that is built purely for maximum enjoyment. Deadpool and Wolverine is a maximalist, hilariously aggressive, and aggressively hilarious romp with actual ideas in its head and feelings in its heart. And that was a surprise to me as much as it might be to you. Audiences will come for the big laughs and visceral action, and will be rewarded with heaping piles of both. The Deadpool vs. Wolverine fights alone are worth the price of admission. But what caught me off guard is that this movie has something to say. Part of Deadpool's appeal is his irreverent ability to comment on the superhero genre. But this movie extends that meta approach to examine the larger state of mega corporation IP filmmaking. And it treats that genre with shocking reverence. It knows that these movies are basically the $200 million version of a kid mashing their action figures together, but it dares to say yes, and those action figures matter. The stories we tell each other about mythic heroes with outlandish powers and vibrant costumes might seem silly to cynics, but they mean something to the people who hold them close. And while these big dumb comic book movies offer a lot to joke about, these stories also bring people together and provide a lot of joy and escapism in dark times. And that's important too. With Deadpool's ability to literally break the camera lens, this franchise becomes the perfect vessel to applaud and indulge in the outrageous, unadulterated, guilt-free comic book maximalism. Simply put, it disarms you into embracing its candy-coated optimism. The movie also gives us 2 completely satisfying emotional journeys for the title characters. And while their arcs were simple, they absolutely work. I also appreciated how this movie subverted the big climactic fight scene that comes at the end of all these movies. I thought Ryan, Hugh, and Matthew McFadden were all excellent. Their acting really elevated the picture. And the needle drops, the songs throughout, were amazing. That said, this movie had 2 big flaws. Emma Corrin is good, and the visuals that they used for her character were creepy and discomforting, but Cassandra is a paper-thin villain that suffers from a lot of telling rather than showing. They tell us why she's powerful and that she's power-hungry, but it's all super surface level, relying on our knowledge of previous movies or comic book characters. There just wasn't much to her, and for me it deflated some of the stakes. Also, a lot of things happen in the movie just because. The second half especially left me wondering why certain things were happening a number of times. But like I said in the intro, there's so much joy and fun to be had here, it's easy to look past an underwritten villain or logic problems in the script, if you're willing to check your cynicism at the door and breathe in the nonsense.